It's funny that decluttering has been such a phase for years and years now, and yet I still think a lot of people struggle with their stuff. And a lot of people even try to declutter, but they're kind of slow about it, or they don't declutter enough, or they just repurchase things and then the decluttering doesn't work. And people just get tripped up in the process. And ultimately, what ends up happening is that our stuff keeps ruling our lives. We end up spending so much time having to tidy up, having to deal with stuff in our house, even like navigating around the stuff in our house, that we're held back from living our lives the way we want to live them, from doing the things we want to do because we're spending time cleaning and tidying. I've been thinking about it a lot lately as I've been doing some recent declutters, and I have also talked to a lot of people in my life about their experience with decluttering. And I think there is one thing that really trips people up more than anything else in the decluttering process. And that thing is fear. Now, before I lose you because it's like, oh, an emotional thing, so this can't be that helpful. Listen, I actually think this factor and understanding this factor can hugely impact how you engage with decluttering, even on a behavioral, logistical level. So please bear with me, but let's talk through what I mean. Why is fear the thing that messes people up the most in the process of decluttering? I think fear can manifest in a variety of ways, but there are two top ones that I think honestly probably come up for people the most. So I want to talk through those. The first way that fear can be impeding your process is that it manifests as a lack of confidence. I think a lot of people, when they declutter, want to do a good job. They're hoping for the best. They're hoping for some kind of transformation. But when it actually comes to facing the belongings and getting rid of things, every single time you face something, you suddenly feel indecisive. You're like, ooh, should I get rid of it? Should I not? Could I use it in this future way? What if I make the wrong decision? What if I get rid of it and then I need it later? Or what if I get rid of it and then someone in my family needs it and then I just kind of screwed them over because I got rid of it and then I'll feel guilty later? What if I'm not thinking of some way in which I might need this object now? Maybe I think it's fine to get rid of right now, but what if later on I think of something or a reason why I might need to keep it? I could go on and on like this. Maybe this is a little window into my chaotic brain, but those are the thoughts that I think go through my head sometimes when I'm decluttering. And it's when I get tangled in that web of indecision and of fear around am I doing this wrong, that I stumble and I slow down and I end up keeping a higher percentage of the stuff that I'm going through. And I also just don't feel good about the process. I don't feel optimistic and I feel like maybe I'm doing it wrong. There's some secret sauce to decluttering that I'm not privy to and that is holding me back from doing the best possible decluttering job that I could. I want to make it clear, there is no secret sauce. There is no magic. The biggest mistake you could probably make is letting that fear of making the wrong decision or of making some kind of decluttering mistake hold you back from just doing the declutter. All of these reasons built on fear, am I going to do it wrong? Am I going to get rid of something that I shouldn't have gotten rid of? Or will I make my house worse somehow in the process? This lack of confidence can hold you back from just digging in and taking some risks. That's what it takes, is taking some risks. And the more risks that you take in the decluttering process, the more knowledgeable you'll be in the future for how to navigate these situations. Remember, do what works for you now, not necessarily what's going to work forever. Yes, maybe there is a future version of yourself that will be more informed or disagree with your decisions, but make your decisions on what you know, the information you have now. And that's all you can do, because otherwise you're just not decluttering. You're not doing the work. So just make the decisions the best you can based on what works for you in your life now, and you can deal with the rest later. You are the expert. You are the one who knows your home, who knows your stuff, who knows your lifestyle, how you use that stuff, how you navigate your home. what makes your home hard to deal with, like you are actually an expert. And if you think of yourself that way, instead of like being down on yourself, you're like, hey, actually I have this very niche slice of knowledge that only I have. And that even if I were to bring in some kind of expert in here, like they would probably give me some good information for sure. But like I also would bring some expertise to the table about what actually works logistically day to day in this house. And I can capitalize on that knowledge and use it to my advantage. And if you have that willingness to let go, that willingness to say like, I'm just gonna take the risk and plunge in and do some significant decluttering, then if you're willing to let go, then you are the best expert to do this job. And yes, you might not do it perfectly, but it is better to do it imperfectly and to do it than to not do it at all. Now, the second form of fear that can manifest, I think, is the fear of being left in need or left in the lurch in the future. Basically, scarcity mindset, the fear that I will be in want later. And some of it is very like in the moment practical, like I'm worried I'll need to use this in the future and that I'll wish I had it. But it's also this low grade, like constant level of anxiety of like, it feels better to have stuff around me so that I know like I'm safe and secure. And I think this can come from this scarcity mindset, this fear of being in want because of past experiences. Maybe it's you grew up in a household that didn't have enough money or was in want at times, or maybe you personally have had financial problems. There are a lot of ways in which our past experiences can inform a mindset, and sometimes that mindset is useful. Like sometimes keeping something here and there that you know you're going to use is useful, but so often we let that scarcity mindset run haywire and we let the emotions around that scarcity mindset take hold and determine our actions rather than making logical, smart choices. But I think sometimes once we're aware of that scarcity mindset, that I'm keeping this out of like this fear that I won't have enough in the future, as opposed to doing what's actually best for me, once we're aware of that phenomenon, it does become easier to make the better decision for you. Because remember, the more stuff you have, the harder it is to find. So even if you keep that thing, you might not be able to find it in the future. If you don't declutter enough, if your home is in chaos and you need that thing, well, you'll just have to go out and buy a new one anyway because you can't find it. But if you do an actual declutter and have a home for everything, then you can actually find the things that you'll use again. In some ways, you're actually going to end up being more thrifty if you have a home where you know where things are and where you can access things than if you have just so much stuff piled up that you like just can't even deal with it. When you have that fear like, oh, what if I'll need this in the future? What if it'll be useful? Will I have to buy it again? Really evaluate, like, what's the realistic likelihood that I use this in the next year? And even if I were to use it in the next year, like, how many times would I use it? Or like, would this be the only thing that I could use in that situation? Like, do I absolutely need this? And really try to figure out, like, is it worth losing my sanity in my home and the tidiness in my home for this one belonging? Or is it better to say goodbye to the item, let it go, and just do my best to navigate into the future without over-consuming and rebuying a bunch of stuff? And listen, I'm not saying this in like a judgmental way. I actually think sometimes this scarcity mindset comes from real life experiences and might even show that you've actually been through something difficult and that maybe you've been doing your best to be smart financially. Like you're trying to be responsible, like your heart is in the right place, your intentions are pure, but the way maybe it's manifested is that it's turned into chaos and it just has become too much and it's actually holding you back rather than allowing you to step forward into the future, living a life that feels lighter and better. And you deserve that. You deserve to have a home that works for you and supports you, and letting your scarcity mindset, your fear of not having enough, control you might actually make your life harder. And if you can somehow let that go, set that to the side and realize I can survive with a lot less than I assume, you will feel so much more free and open, and you will have more time to do those things that are meaningful for you. So I want to quickly remind you of what we talked about today. It's fairly simple, fairly quick, but it is the core thing that people get tripped up on, because ultimately it is that issue of like where people declutter, but they just don't get rid of enough, or they declutter and then they declutter again and it they're just kind of like, my house is still in chaos, and they're not willing to like fully just like let go and lean in. These are those barriers. It's the fear that is the barrier. So let's go over this again. The first one was a lack of confidence, a lack of belief that you have the ability to successfully declutter. And the second way the fear can come in is the fear of being in need or left in the lurch in the future. That scarcity mindset. Just know that the scarcity mindset might be there for a reason, and it might be coming from a good place of wanting to protect you or your family. But quite often in the long run, it can run haywire and it can hold you back from actually living a better life, and possibly even a more thrifty life. Because again, if you just keep accumulating, you're buying more stuff, you're rebuying things, you can never find anything. That's going to make life worse for you in the long run, even if it feels like you're being responsible. So I think what's helpful for this is, in the moment, if you're really debating on whether or not to keep something, just remind yourself of this phenomenon of the scarcity mindset and see if you can let it go. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful for you. If you have other ways that fear manifests in slowing down your decluttering, please let me know, because I really think fear is the thing that slows me down the most and slows down a lot of the people I've talked to. So I'm curious for other people how that plays out. Also, if you'd be willing to take a moment to thumbs up this video, it is a great way to support the channel. Just taking a moment to do that really makes an impact, so I'd appreciate it so much. And then also, if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the bell alert button to be notified when new videos come out. Anyway, that's most of what I have for you today, but thank you so much for spending this little bit of time with me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.